Is Ostkaka going to continue to be aggressive? We're about to find out. Game 3 here between ErA and Ostkaka.
Get underway right now. How do they adjust to the information they have so far? You know, ErA's queued up 2 control decks in a row. Ostkaka, been back and forth.
Yep, love seeing a Glaive Zuka in Ostkaka's hand here.
Yep, but
ErA,
look.
this looks like Echo Mage.
Yep, he's gotten a copy of Explosive Sheep in here, and that's a very big tell as to how this game plan is going to roll.
That's a Dr. Boom.
But he mulliganed the Ice Barrier. That's really, really interesting to me, because Ice Barrier is one of the best cards versus this deck.
Yeah, it might be just like an auto mulligan in his mind since he has a Mad Scientist in his hand. You don't want to draw them, but his opening hand is actually great.
I don't know. I think I disagree. I think if you're
I'm saying Ice Barriers, in his mind, he might just believe it's always an auto mulligan.
Yeah, I just, you know, that's something that I personally, I think, disagree with. I just love to see that card make such an impact versus his deck. I mean, what Hunter's trying to do most of the time is just get damage on board and then punish you for not having the right answers.
Yeah, especially when you see Argent Squire, you know, in the last deck, like you have to believe this is going to be another very aggressive deck out of Ostkaka.
Yeah,
You're seeing a different Ostkaka.
Yep. And so now this is an interesting spot too, because Freezing Trap very strong against Mad Scientist, but he wants to get board development.
Yeah, it's a weird spot. He has to decide whether he wants to disrupt what ErA's doing or start getting going himself. You know,
Yeah. I mean, Haunted Creeper does not look very good here.
No, you just get, you know, he can just attack it in like hero power.
Yeah, I don't blame him for this Freezing Trap at all.
I don't either. You know, you can take your time. You still have Animal Companion in your hand. And you have a lot of stuff going forward. You know, and again, if you think this is something like Freeze Mage, like you have time. You know, and who better to play against that deck than Ostkaka? He probably knows everything that's possible at all points in time.
Well, Explosive Sheep going to present a minor problem here for Ostkaka.
Got another deck with Arcane Golem in it.
I mean, this is a spot I don't think he really wants to play.
I think Ostkaka really needs to accept Arcane Golem as like his spirit animal going forward here in HPL. That's what I want to see out of him. I want to see him get aggressive and then mix in these control decks that you want so much. It's so much harder to win in competitive card games, especially at the pro level, when they just always know what you're doing. Yeah. Like you're just like, oh, I know that he's gonna be controlling me every game.
Yeah, Ostkaka gonna go with Haunted Creeper here. The Death Rattle triggers, very important in this game. You know,
yeah, great play from him here.
Yeah, the Death Rattles will trigger in the order they entered play. So Explosive Sheep is going to happen, and then Haunted Creep is going to happen. So
yeah, so if everyone wants to take care of this board, he has to give up a Frostbolt as well. Yeah. He can't just, you know, hero power and run it in.
Yeah, Explosive Sheep's being contested here in all ways. But, you know, I think he's kind of okay with this, the fact that he's just occupying time.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to get time to, you know, turn 4 where he can play as Mad Scientist again, and then he's got Sludge Belcher behind that. And then on turn 6, you know, he has a combination of something like Fireball plus Hero Power into Flameshark or Dr. Boom if the board is okay.
Yeah, understands he needs to play this game slower pace, so just going to trade his Explosive Sheep.
I like not using the Frostbolt here.
I agree with you. He needs it for cards like Animal Companion, and that's exactly what Ostkaka has.
Great draw from Ostkaka here, picking up the Worgen Infiltrator, getting him to be able to use that extra mana that he's got off. That is a big deal in this game.
Yeah, every point of mana really matters for Hunter. They have to be able to filter this in, and whoa, another strong draw here from ErA. He's going to be able to forego this couple points of damage and set up another board sweep.
Yeah, great turn here for ErA.
I mean, just everything seems to be going his way in this match.
Now, what does Ostkaka do this turn? Do you just Eaglehorn Bow and push for a ton of damage here?
What other option do you have, really? I mean, maybe he can Glaive Zuka first because he's got minions on the board.
You know, it's kind of hard to Glaive Zuka here though, because what happens if it goes onto the Bisha? You feel like, you know, you missed some damage here.
Yeah, definitely disappointed damage there.
Yeah, so
he also doesn't use his mana quite as well.
Doesn't use his mana quite as well, but like on turns like this, it's not super important to use all of your mana here if something is just a better play.
Yeah.
But again, I think Eaglehorn Bow plus Hero Power is just better here, and again, like you said, just looks cleaner.
Yeah, but Goey's going to take his time and think through every single thing.
Yeah, this means it's going to be Eaglehorn Bow for sure.
Oh, he's actually going to Arcane Golem too.
Take this out on his own.
This is kind of a read from him that he thinks that ErA doesn't necessarily have an answer to this, and he's spot on. I mean, this spot, ErA's going to play Sludge Belcher, and then the Glaive Zuka going to be able to set up to take out this Arcane Golem. But ErA, he's just going to favor Mad Scientist, and when he draws Frostbolt, why not?
Yeah, he draws Frostbolt here. That's the key to this. Getting this Mad Scientist into, he's trying to create a good board state for Dr. Boom next turn. He wants to try to get this game over with. One of the best ways to beat Hunter isn't stopping everything they do. It's actually, when you get that one window, pushing for damage and then racing them from there, because if you just give them time, their hero power is going to whittle you down.
This is the first spot I think I've seen Ostkaka actually react to anything. He looked like he was a little bit uncomfortable with this board state right now, and it's very rare that he shows anything whatsoever, but you saw him shift in his chair a little bit and kind of, you know, take a little bit of a breath here and go, how do I actually win this game?
Because this is an interesting spot here. You know, this is what I think he's going to do, and he is going to do. He's going to Haunted Creeper into the Glaive Zuka and use his hero power. Now, he is going to kill the Mad Scientist here because he needs to protect his beast in play. It's the only one that he has left for this kill command, and he needs the full 5 from this card.
He needs every point of damage that he can squeeze out. This is going to have to do a little bit more work than usual.
Ooh. Next turn, being able to Sludge Belter into Duplicate, too, as well, if he wants to.
Just brutal stuff. His third weapon draw from Ostkaka. I mean, something else that's been happening too in his games is that he's just been getting, frankly, kind of unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we mentioned it in the setup, and that, you know, Ostkaka is a great player. Nothing against him. You know, his record is not good, but it's not indicative of his skill level. You know, a lot of times when you see records, they aren't always indicative of skill levels, and he is a prime example of that. Ostkaka, just a great player. You can see in every turn that he plays, they are so well thought out, and he just plays to even the most narrow extra advantages that he can get in the game.
Yeah, why isn't that translating into wins? I mean, that's got to start weighing on his mind.
Oh yeah, you're seeing it on him. He seems almost lost in his deck choices here in some of HPL. You know, he's trying to do whatever he can. You know what I mean? He's literally trying super hard to do everything he can.
Look at this too, just squeezing out every point. Doesn't use kill command this turn though. That is a little bit interesting to me, and this is going to be ErA's opportunity to try to seize a big advantage right here. And frankly, I think he's going to get it. 4 points of damage off the Boombot. And with a Fireball in hand, honestly, I think he's just satisfied with the damage going upstairs.
Yeah, because he's going to get a full 7 in here. He's going to be able to sit behind this Sludge Belcher. He can even duplicate here, which is just pretty good on this board.
Yeah, he does need to count a little bit here. He's got 10. He's got 17 points of damage next turn too. So Ostkaka's got to do something to answer this board position. And frankly, I don't know if there's anything in here that can do it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of damage. I mean, he's pretty darn far off.
But he knows that the secret is going to keep him alive as well.
That too. I mean, it could be duplicate. That's a possibility.
Yeah, that's true. He could, yeah.
You know, it can't be mirror entity or anything like that. But we've also seen ErA play stuff like Spellbender.
I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure with him having duplicate in his deck now that I think he's achieved the unlocked the achievement of playing all of the secrets. I think he's played all of them.
He hasn't played Vaporize yet.
I think you're right. I think he actually hasn't played Vaporize. Well, I'm going to message him after this.
We haven't seen him play Vaporize. It's not to say that he hasn't had it somewhere.
I'm going to make sure that he knows that after this match that he hasn't played Vaporize yet, and I'll see if I can get him to play it.
Yeah, so Ostkaka just going to try to empty his hand and start going upstairs and just hope that ErA doesn't have lethal damage. But we can see that Fireball in his hand. He's got exact lethal in this game, and now ErA's going to take a 2-1 lead in this one. He's got Duplicate, Ice Barrier, and a Mystery Secret. We don't quite know what this one is, but I think it's Ice Block personally. But it doesn't matter in this one because Ostkaka was nowhere close to beating ErA in this game.
Yeah, ErA just great queue up here. Knew that Ostkaka was going to continue to be aggressive. This deck, pretty well suited at taking care of all those early minions, and it has a great late game to get him back in.